Welcome back, fantasy players. Hope you endured the Pocono doubleheader last week, especially after race 2 got pretty hairy. A lot of the favorites from race 1 didn't quite make it back up to the field, but I think I fared alright, knowing that a lot of players did struggle as well. Road America is on the calendar for this 4th of July weekend, but before we get to my picks for there, let's go over my recaps for Pocono. The Saturday race is where Kyle Larson blew a tire on the last lap, and Alex Bowman inherited the lead to get the win. And here on screen are your top drivers with the most points. And of course, here are all my results. Jackuwarz did great. Eric Amarola continues to pull a lot of weight if you do play him. I was kind of hoping he would give me the same results from last year. Almost all of my picks had Kyle Larson winning, Chevrolet and Hendrick Motorsports included, which those picks do stay, thanks to Alex Bowman winning instead. 3 out of the 5 Kyle Busch top Toyota picks worked. And besides no Chevy, every lineup here scored more than 220 points. Now, besides the finish of Saturday's race, Sunday's race is a little bit more interesting thanks to the fuel mileage that were ensuing after the last pit stops. You got nearly the whole field cutting it close on fuel, those including Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, and William Byron. But at the end of Sunday's race, it's Kyle Busch that took the checkered flag here after he lost a clutch and his transmission. That blew the way of the race, and then he had only 4th gear to work with the rest of the race. Surprisingly enough, him being in only 4th gear meant he saved even more fuel than everybody else, and that's how he was able to get to the very end of the race. And recapping my results from the Sunday race, Jackuwarz didn't do very good, neither did any of my other lineups. Kurt Busch continues to bite my results every time I play him here, and even though it's a road course heading into Road America, I'm on the fence of playing him there. Also, another thing to mention with this race, garage picks were very difficult. At the end of stage 2, it was a big toss-up between either Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, or Ryan Blaney to garage. Blaney had a pit road penalty and trapped him a lap down before the end of stage 2, and I really thought that he wouldn't get his lap back and then he would be trapped back there outside the top 25. And then I left it to Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick to duke it out for the last bits that carried the rest of my starter lineups. But I suppose I underestimated. Blaney was probably the first car lap down before the end of stage 2. He got his lap back and got a top 10. If I knew that a whole lot sooner, I would have very much garaged Kurt Busch and gained those lost 21 points. You're also going to see a lot in my lineups. All of my picks were Hendrick and Chevy. Just figured keep picking that until it doesn't work. Well, this is the race that eventually it didn't work. I really had a lot of faith in William Byron getting the win here on Sunday. He's run here so good in the past, and he was in prime position to do that on Sunday. But unfortunately, he didn't get enough fuel mileage. He was about 3 or so laps short on fuel, and then he pitted with that many laps to go. For Jackuwarz World Network, that gets 199 points, and all starters scoring at least 30 points. I snuck in a Kyle Busch winning pick for the bonus picks there, and we surely got that. I wasn't 100% sold that Hendrick wasn't going to sweep the Pocono weekend, so I kept the bonus picks for Chevrolet and Hendrick there. And for the Sunday race, here are the top drivers with the most points on screen. Big surpriser this race was Bubba Wallace. He rounded out the top 5 drivers with 38 points. He snuck in a 5th place result for his first with 2311 Racing. And that's the results from Pocono. Alright, mixed bag here and there. Race 1 was a lot easier, and then race 2 kind of was hit and miss, especially when you had to put in more sleepers and more drivers were not making it to the front as quickly, because stage 1 there was maybe 30 laps to get to the front and score stage points, which most of the drivers that didn't benefit from the invert didn't quite capitalize on. So let's look at the playoff cut line after the Pocono doubleheader. There's been quite some changes. For one, Kurt Busch is now in, 3 points over Chris Buescher. After the top 5 result from Sunday's race, Bubba Wallace is now within 55 points of the cutoff line, but I feel he's going to have his work cut out for him at Road America. It's quite honestly an interesting cast of drivers that are on the outside looking in. You got the 2 inaugural race teams in Daniel Suarez and Bubba Wallace right there. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he's lurking with 54 points just like Bubba. Probably needs to win at Daytona if he wants to get in. Same deal with Matt DiBenedetto. And with Road America being a ginormous track, maybe they stay out and not pit with 2 laps to go at the end of the stage to get more stage points. I have my faith the most in Kurt doing that strategy, but besides him, I'd say Daniel Suarez does the same thing as well. Now for my tier list, there's going to be a few part-time drivers, plus I also updated the paint scheme numbers so they're more in line with what the numbers and colors are going to be for this 4th of July week. We have AJ Allmendinger in the 16 car and Austin Cindric in the 33. They're going to be running this race, and I feel with how many starts the Xfinity Series has had at Road America, maybe we'll have a lot of drivers that run in that series more to have an advantage over the Cup drivers. But I'm recording this well before practice, so until we get any data, that plus qualifying the morning right before the race, we won't know for sure who's going to be fast. But heading into the week, this is what I have for you in terms of my tier list. Top plays, we know any road course, you got to play Chase Elliott here. He's been pretty automatic on road courses. Same deal as of late with Joey Logano. They're going to give you instant top 5s with 40 points each. But among these top play drivers, we're going to focus on Kyle Busch for this week. If the results at either the Daytona road course or the Charlotte Roval, yeah, Kyle Busch's road course history has been very putrid as of late. But we're going to look at the last 2 results he's had on road courses at Sonoma and Circuit of the Americas, because those 2 results are just from a different time than compared to the results he's had at the Daytona road course and the Charlotte Roval. If you're say at 3 or 4 uses left with Kyle Busch, I would say play him at Road America. Unfortunately, I'm in a situation where I'm at 1 use left. I'm going to save that for the following week at Atlanta. But don't fret if you can't start Kyle Busch. I'm having him as my top Toyota pick, even over Martin Truex Jr., which has been synonymous with road course prowess. I think the fact that Kyle Busch edged out Truex at the Sonoma race, that's enough reason to suspect that Kyle can get the honors again. Blind spot plays, this is where the Xfinity regulars are going to come in. Same goes with a few other drivers that I feel will get some top 10 results. But the one I think I need to address the most is Kurt Busch. He's had a turnaround this season, the last few weeks, not counting the Pocono Sunday race. At Sonoma, he bagged really good points, double-digit stage points. It's been quite a while since Kurt has raced at Road America. We're talking 2012 in the Xfinity Series. If you combine that with the fact that I've been very snake-bitten with Kurt Busch all season long, anytime I play him, he hasn't been going great, or I'm just not very good at timely plays with Kurt Busch. If you're not me, maybe you can make this play work, but I'm going to stick with other plays like say AJ Allmendinger or Austin Cindric for this week. At this point for me, even Ryan Blaney is a safer pick, I think. But if you decide to play Kurt, then I can't stop you. Kurt Busch is very much battling for a playoff spot in Chip Ganassi Racing's last season before they sell all their assets to Trackhouse Racing next year. And now for our long shot plays, yeah, you did used to call them deep sleeper plays, but long shot seems to be a more simple name. Nothing too crazy. Ross Chastain is at the very top of the list. He's been very impressive at road courses. I'm looking at what he showed back at Circuit of the Americas. He was able to run up front along with the likes of Austin Cindric and Ryan Preece. But let's give the nod to Chase Briscoe. He's one of the many drivers that's fresh off a few starts at Road America in the Xfinity Series. Now I feel you don't need to rely on his results from the Daytona road course in Sonoma, because just like Coda, this is going to be an inaugural race, and track time may be an advantage to Briscoe. For now, Briscoe's a long shot play because the ownership percentage isn't there. If Briscoe shows a lot of speed in practice and a good qualifying effort, then I'm more than willing to say swap out Martin Truex, assuming he doesn't have a good practice or qualifying effort, just like back at Circuit of the Americas. And we'll roll with that, which is something I'm very much considering on rolling out. Play with caution, a few big drivers, but really in here based on usages. Most of my lineups are at 3 Kevin Harvick plays remaining. I'm going to save that for the ovals. Same goes for Denny Hamlin. I got my plays reserved with him at Atlanta and New Hampshire. Maybe Michigan if I have to fall back there. But how about a play that you may not have to rely on usages for, because I'm at say 5 or so. That's Brad Keselowski. He's been very hit or miss at road courses as of late. His only really good finish at road courses has been at the Daytona road course earlier this year. But outside that, outside or barely in the top 15. For sure, don't play Keselowski if you're at say 2 or 3 uses remaining. Save that for Atlanta, Michigan, and maybe Daytona. Plus, I feel Joey Logano and even Ryan Blaney are far better Penske picks for this week. That's not to mention Austin Cindric as well. Looking into our avoid categories, this is a more surprising list and a lot more interesting than we had in the last few weeks. But for my big avoid for this week, it's going to be William Byron, and that's all because of his results at road courses in 2021. In all 3 of the races, he's had some issues of some sort and has failed to finish inside the top 10. Sonoma he crashed at. Coda, I believe he got rear-ended and had to fix the damage from that for a good period of time. And of course the Daytona road course where he fried up the brakes. I'm easily putting William Byron, the 4th Hendrick car you should put in your lineup this week at Road America, even if you have the usages for Kyle Larson. He's a much better pick here. And of course, whereas William Byron is looking overrated at road courses this year, you got Alex Bowman that's underrated. And if you're at a spare amount of plays with Alex Bowman, say 5 or 6 remaining, even at 4 usages, I can recommend Bowman here. And for my main lineups, I'm in the same boat with William Byron plays as I am with Kyle Busch plays. I'm at 1 remaining, and I'm going to be saving it for next week at Atlanta. Now I need to stress this again. This is all being recorded before we've even seen practice or qualifying, so all my lineups that I'm going to disclose with you guys right now, they're all going to change very drastically. But here are my lineups pre-practice. Also my usages remaining. Jackuwarz 1, we're looking at 1 Kyle Larson, 1 Kyle Busch, 1 William Byron play, 2 Denny Hamlins. Everywhere else, we're kind of on track to run out of plays too, such as Chase Elliott, play him on all the remaining road courses, starting here at Road America. Joey Logano, I'm doing the same thing, but add in maybe Michigan, more than likely New Hampshire. And you're also going to see I'm going to have a quartet of drivers that I'm going to build my lineup around. That's going to be Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, and Alex Bowman. Truex is very subject to change. Really depends on what we get from him in practice and qualifying. If it's not very good, then sub in, say, Chase Briscoe or whoever is on the top of the speed charts there instead. Chase Elliott is a very safe play to win this week. If you want to circle the Americas, track that we haven't seen anything on. And if we write off all the Xfinity drivers that have had a lot of starts at Road America, then it's safe to say Chase can get another win here and get win number 2 on 2021. It's hard to write off Joey Logano and Kyle Busch to get top Ford and top Toyota. I can't think of another driver to get those honors either. Keselowski maybe, but more so Ryan Blaney to be second to Joey Logano there. And of course you could flip the coin on either Kyle Busch or Martin Truex for the top Toyota, but I'm going Kyle Busch. He's on a hotter streak than Truex as of late. Similar lineup with Waste Elliott. Instead we have Kyle Busch instead of Chase Elliott. This lineup has more leverage with usages here, since this lineup is at 3 usages remaining, whereas Waste Elliott is at 3 Kyle Busch plays left. Instead of Austin Cindric, we'll go Kurt Busch. I think this is going to be the lineup where I make my 1 Kurt Busch play. I'm not very confident in loading up all my lineups with Kurt Busch plays, so 1 should suffice. For the winning picks here, I feel if it's not Chase Elliott that's going to win, I feel Joey Logano could very much win. He's been super consistent on road courses this year, all of them coming in the top 5, and results like that, he's got to translate one of them into a win. Even though Logano's never started at Road America, even in the Xfinity Series, I'd say he has a chance, if Bristol Dirt wasn't an indication. But if the speed charts and qualifying suggest otherwise, then I'll for sure change this and possibly throw in Kyle Busch or Martin Truex Jr. as a supplement for a Chase Elliott win. No Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for Pick Stenhouse. I'm going to wait until Atlanta to get my final Ricky Stenhouse Jr. play. We're using the same schematics as Jackuwarz 1. Get Chase Elliott, get Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, and Alex Bowman. We'll throw in a few more Penske cars here also. Ryan Blaney and Austin Cindric. Copy and paste the bonus picks from Jackuwarz 1. Got ourselves a lineup that will get us to next week. No Chevy, I think, has the most interesting lineup. Of course, it always does, but we have room to play Chase Briscoe here. This lineup is in the same situation with Michael McDowell plays as it is with my Chase Elliott plays. At 3 left, I'm going to use all of them to start at the road courses, and if I do decide to skip on one, then I'll for sure have one in reserve for Daytona. Truex plays are at 2 left, and I'll try my hands here at Road America. If it doesn't work, then Indianapolis and Watkins Glen aren't too bad replacements. Kyle Larson's a good top Chevrolet replacement for Chase Elliott, just based on the results that we got at Sonoma. And I feel we haven't seen the last of Kyle Larson dominance. He did sneak in a 2nd place finish in the Sunday race at Pocono. Then you look past the week of Road America, you got Atlanta, which Larson ran exceptionally well back in March. But right before that, maybe Larson has all that big momentum from all those consecutive wins that he has to have at his disposal this week. But with the rest of my lineups being heavy on top Chevrolet picks with Chase Elliott, I'll have this one try out Kyle Larson. Plus, none of my lineups can really afford a Larson play at Road America. They're all booked for next week at Atlanta. And if there's 2 left, then plus Michigan. Now at Jackuwarz World Network, we're taking the same approach with Waste Elliott. It has 3 Kyle Busch plays left. We'll use one of them here. It's at 2 Chase Elliott plays left, so we're going to sub in Ryan Blaney instead. And then we'll see what reserving the final 2 Chase Elliott plays here does for us at Watkins Glen and Indianapolis. even though I think that most players in that situation would probably play him here and then at Watson's Glen. I think I'm going to go on the back burner here and do that instead, because I feel it also gives me the chance, if the Indianapolis play doesn't work, that means I have to use it in either Michigan or Daytona, which both tracks are very solid for Chase. And if I have him for Daytona especially, that's going to be very interesting, knowing that his survivability rate at Daytona and Talladega have gone up. He's gotten to the finish in more of those races. But still, it does sound really silly to not have Chase Elliott at a road course. I'm looking at 2 usages left. I have to save him somewhere, which we'll try our hands here, and then we'll still cover with the bonus picks. And those are my picks. Again, they're very subject to change, because this is before practice and qualifying, so stay up to date on my Twitter to see what kind of changes I make before race day. Cup Series practice is on Saturday, 9:35 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then qualifying is the day after, 8 a.m. Pacific, with the race kicking off at 12:30. This ought to be a very interesting race. It's a road course on the 4th of July weekend at the track that the Cup Series hasn't been to since 1957, sometime way back then. This ought to be a fun race, so enjoy the 4th of July race weekend. I'll catch you next week for Atlanta.